Hi and welcome to another episode of Hilltop HomeGrown. Today we're going to look at garlic, and specifically how much garlic do I plant for the year. Now, working out how many plants of a particular plant that you need to plant for the year is quite difficult. So I started off with an easy one. Start off with garlic, because garlic has cloves around it so you can kind of roughly count how much you use. So simply put, we go through roughly a bulb a week. There's about 10 cloves-ish. I mean, you can get up to 20, but as an average you get about 10 cloves on a bulb. We go through about a bulb a week, so we go through 52 bulbs a year in our fresh cooking. Now, we do use a bit more than that because we have things like canned sauces, and then we'll use garlic in that. So what I would say is, you think, right, so I'm going to use one a week, so that's 52 for the year, which is fine, but then you've got to leave yourself an emergency kind of fund, so to speak, in garlic, just in case some of your plants don't grow. So I would say about 10% would be about right with garlic. So for us that means we need an extra kind of 5 or 6 of them, so we would plant in that scenario, say about, I don't know, say 55 to 60 plants to make sure that we get what we need for the year. Now, we actually plant about 100 to 120 every year, just plain and simply because we use more in sauces and we use more in different varieties of cooking throughout the year. I mean, we, come Christmas and things as well, we use a bit extra, so the 100 to 120 allows for a bit of a failure of any of the plants, and it also allows us to have as much as we need when we need it. Now, garlic in particular is quite an important plant in most cooking, because right throughout the Mediterranean, kind of European cooking really, kind of Italy, Greece, Spain, places like that, garlic is very important, and historically it's been used throughout cooking and medicine in some cultures. The ancient Egyptians, for example, thought it was had some quite medicinal properties, which has been backed up on. It's full of nutrients and things for you, so it's well worth having in your kitchen for you. Now, with regards to growing your garlic, the best time to plant it is October-November time, kind of late October, early November. Get it in the ground. We planted it inside. To be honest, it was to try and see it through the winter. We needn't have worried, because we had a very mild winter. So I would actually say plant them outside, because they're very thirsty plants. We found ourselves a lot this year kind of watering these, whereas outside we wouldn't have had to because of the damper weather. So definitely plant them outside rather than inside than we have, and then there's not such a high level of maintenance. Garlic is also a good crop for beginners, because you plant it throughout the winter. You plant it early winter, it grows throughout the winter, you harvest it kind of late May, early June, and we're going to plant ours just into June. And it's one of those things where you've really got that option there, because for people who without much experience, if you plant it outside, it doesn't take a huge amount of maintenance, and then you just kind of stick your hands in the ground and feel, oh yeah, there's a couple of cloves around that, now around that bulb, pull it out the ground kind of late May, early June. You've not really had to do all that much, but it's there for you and you've got your plant. So with garlic as well, I find that because of the space it requires, I mean, we're a big fan of small space gardening here. If you've got quite a limited space, it's only 10 centimetres between each bulb when you plant it, between each plant. So you could get, I mean, say in a 100 centimetre square space, you'd be looking at getting, say, 100 plants, which is very useful if you've only got a small amount of space there for you when you're doing all this. So it's a very useful, very kind of space kind of friendly plant, which is a really good thing if you are limited on room. You can get a lot in a small area. We plant ours out a bit wider, mainly so that we can get kind of a slightly bigger bulb, really. Now, talking about the size of bulbs, if you plant the cloves that are biggest, you get bigger bulbs. It sounds a stupid and obvious thing to say, but it's true. So you get, I mean, we've done a little experiment here. We've got this bed where we planted the bigger bulbs, and just down there we've got kind of a half bed where we planted smaller bulbs, smaller cloves rather. And it's surprising, we've got much healthier, much happier plants here in the big bed. In the smaller bed, we've kind of had a bit of a struggle really. Some of them struggled to grow, a lot of them failed, and the bulbs themselves, they have come up a lot smaller. So when you're looking at harvesting garlic, it's got to have a frost on it at some point. So if you plant it outside, it's no problem at all, for the cloves to form around the bulb. And then you'll see that some of the leaves just slightly browning. You don't want to let all the leaves go brown, just a few of them. A little bit green is still okay when you're harvesting it. And don't water it before you harvest it for about 3 or 4 days. Let it really dry out, because it's a very thirsty plant, so it'll dry out quite quickly. So a couple of days beforehand, it'll dry out, and it just means that you've got no mud or anything stuck to the bulb. So when you are then drying them out later on, once you've harvested them, then it means that you've got the kind of a bit, there's nothing stuck to it. It's not going to go mouldy. It's not going to start rotting on you or anything like that. You don't have to bother washing it. It's all just going to drop pretty much straight off the plant as you pull it out the ground. Now there are 2 types of garlic. There's hardneck and softneck. The importance between the two is that the hardneck, as you might imagine, is harder. It's got like a stem going through it. The softneck is what most people would plat it with. When platting garlic is quite a popular way of drying it out and things. The garlic plats, they look really nice, and so they're quite a popular thing to have. So if you're wanting to do that, use a softneck garlic, not a hardneck garlic. And when it comes to harvesting, just slightly scrape out the soil from around it, like I've done here. Give it a bit of a pull. There you go. Garlic is harvested. See, just all that soil comes off nice and easy, and you've got there nice garlic bulb, and you can actually feel the cloves of garlic in there. And then what we'll do is, we've got kind of a couple of racks that we dry these out on. They're just basically old pallets. And we'll sit there, because it's a nicer summer weather now, especially this year. We've got a really nice hot summer this year. We can lay these out, they'll dry out, and we can leave them for a good few days, probably maybe even up to 2 weeks, just drying out. Then we chop the top off, and we've got a nice bulb of garlic there ready to go. And that's what you're looking for really when it comes to your garlic, making sure it's properly dried out before you start chopping the heads off, because you want to make sure that it's going to stay fresh. Now when it comes to storing and keeping it fresh, in your storage, keep it cool kind of temperature. A cool room temperature is not too bad, it should be fine there. But if you see any green on any of your garlic, use that first. Use it straight away. Make sure that gets used first, because otherwise it could go mouldy, it could start to rot or anything like that, or even sprout, and that can cause a lot of problems further down the line with the rest of your harvest, which you don't want. So if you just use it, get it out of the way, you'll be fine. And that's the best way to kind of keep the rest of your stores of garlic fresh throughout the rest of the year. So that's garlic, and as I say, it's really useful, really easy to grow plant. So if you're wondering what to start with, along with radishes, I'd say one of the easier things to grow, and especially with it being a winter grower, with it being quite happy in the colder weather, like we have here. We've got a nice big bed of it here. This will do us for the year. And as I say, we planted ours a bit late, about late December, early January, but we got quite a good deal on the bulbs, to be honest. So we can clear this bed out, over the next week, turn it over, and all our other plants, like our tomatoes and things that are waiting to get planted, they can go in at a nice decent plant size. The bed's not cost us any time. It's been there, it's given us a harvest. Over winter we've not really had to do much to it, and it's been brilliant. It's one of those things that's really kind of done us well, and it allows us to get other plants in without affecting the rest of our harvest, without taking up too much space. And this is one of our friends, this is one of our garden pests. Aren't you, Nala? You're one of our garden pests. She spent a lot of time digging up our plants, unfortunately, which is something that we try not to encourage with the cat. She's not actually supposed to be in the polyhouse. But you'll see behind me here, as Nala goes past, our rocket and our mustard we've let go to flower and go to seed, actually. So we'll have a look at that in the next video, why it is we've let that happen and what a benefit it is going to give us with the polytunnel throughout the year, and also into the future years. That's the main thing with that. So thank you very much for watching, and like, subscribe, all those kind of things. See you soon.